From deep in the Burbank Media District, it's time for another edition of My Burbank Talks, presented by the staff of My Burbank. Now, let's see what's on today's agenda as we join our program.
Hello, Burbank. Craig Sherwood here with you, along with Craig Durling.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday.
And everybody's favorite guest star, Ross Benson.
Wait a minute, guest star? Is this the week that was, the week that will be for January 22?
It's the week that is.
Wow.
Whenever we do the show, it's the week that is.
Now take my head my nice little beanie.
Well, I don't want to catch pneumonia.
Wait, watch it. And I have a question. On our production table, we have a ball.
We have a ball?
Did somebody lose their ball?
You know who
Let's
lost
see.
the ball.
We can see. Might catch a glimpse of him in the corner of that camera.
Does that belong to...
Down there. He's down there.
There he is.
That's Dodger.
Oh, Dodger.
The My Burbank dog. The mongrel. There he is.
Did
You
you
woke him up.
notice, did
Woke
you
him up.
notice the dog from the shelter today?
Yeah, same name. That's okay. He was
It might not be that uncommon in L.A.
probably
to have a
not,
dog named
yeah,
Dodger, right?
Probably not. Also, the fact that you imagine if you did adopt him and then you started, how would they know themselves apart?
Dodger 1. Who's on first base?
Yes. What's on second? Who's on first?
Here we go.
There we go. Ross is lost again.
Old reference lost
I was
on
gonna
young.
say, what page
When they say old reference lost on younger viewers?
Yes.
Yeah. Except Ross. I mean, you're
I'm the senior here.
right.
That's true.
Well, see, it's not that you never heard of them. You forgot who they were.
You know, it's funny. The other day,
I oughta.
I was thinking of back to the 50s and 60s, and I remember stuff from then. So Alzheimer's or
Yeah, but do you remember what you had for breakfast?
actually
Today, not back in the 50s and 60s.
I didn't really eat breakfast this morning.
Hey, nothing to forget. There we go.
There you go. Well, last week I started off, and one of the things I talked about was my disappointment with Floyd's barbershop being my Brink's best winner and their lack of what they had to do. I have a new story this
Their
week.
lack of staffing.
Wait.
Their lack of staffing.
The lack of staffing.
You got your hair cut at Olive Auto Repair?
No, I have a story to tell, though, if you'd like me to tell it.
You should see them putting him up on the rack.
So
Check his undercarriage.
this past week, my car made a very strange noise. And
Ding.
I thought the suspension was a
Kapah.
problem or something. So Olive Auto Repair did, and they're my Brink's best winner. And that's why I went to them, and I went back to them and said, hey, I have an issue here. And they fully looked at my car, and I said, you know what? I think the brakes might need a little work also. They took my car for a test drive. They fully looked at it, took things apart, looked at the brakes, and said, you know what? Everything is great. I said, what about the brakes? They said, no, you don't need brakes. And I said to myself,
Well, you do need brakes, but your car didn't need brakes.
Well, he needs new sneakers because they're all worn out because the hole in the floor, he just puts his feet down, like Flintstone style.
So I looked at it like, they could have sold me brakes very easily. I wouldn't know. Nobody knows. And so, shout out to Olive Auto Repair, my Brink's best auto repair shop, for doing a great job and just taking care of me and not charging me for something they didn't need to be charged for.
Integrity.
Yeah. So
Are they on Olive?
they're on Olive and Victory.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, coming here tonight, he drove through the fence because he couldn't stop. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah,
that's next week's gripe.
that's my eyesight.
In fact, you're going to laugh. I once had to call them. I went to another mechanic that couldn't help me that day, and I wanted to get my car looked at. And the gentleman that used to own Olive Auto Repair was a chamber member, and he was at every mixer. He'd always come up to me, come see me.
Olive and Victory.
It's actually a little east of Victory on Olive, right next to what used to be Pep Boys. Now it's Auto.
Oh, okay.
It's a little white place. Actually, you drive into it. It's a drive-in repair shop.
If you can.
Yeah. Well,
If you can't,
The young guy
you
owns
can't
it
drive.
now.
Yeah.
He bought it from...
Well,
Because the corner is that used car.
I was very impressed with him.
What the heck?
Where'd that come from?
That's Dodger's new toy, and I
Oh,
put it up here so he wouldn't play with it, and now it's going off randomly, I guess.
I thought I was hearing something.
We did hear something.
You did hear something.
Confirmed. So Olive Auto Repair.
Yeah. So
Do they do general service and repairs?
Yeah, absolutely. And they did my actually did my suspension before, and they did a great job.
Is that why you walked?
So what was wrong with your car?
They said nothing. They couldn't find anything wrong with it, and I've driven it since now and not had a problem.
So essentially, they're saying you're the problem.
I have the problem.
Can't
Well, when you drive your car,
fix that.
drive your car once every 3 weeks, I guess it creeps from just.
Well,
who are you? Why am I driving?
Well, look at the sounds you make when you get up
Yeah.
a couple times a day.
I think I've put 5 tanks of gas in my car since COVID started. I mean, it's just, and I don't even fill the tank all the way up.
You know, I bought my first car from my grandmother, who bought it from my dad. And when I bought it from my grandmother, she had put, in the 2 years she owned it, she put 200 miles on it.
Wow.
Because all she had to do was drive it from the house to Arlington Heights
What kind of car?
to go shopping.
What was your first car?
It was a spectacular magnet of a vehicle. It was a 1981 Oldsmobile Omega ragtop, golden color.
Ross, your first car.
But it was front-wheel drive and got me out of snowbanks, which was handy growing up, believe me.
Didn't have a lot of that problem here in Burbank.
Are you ready for this?
Didn't grow up here.
Go ahead.
A 1962 mail truck that you could stand up and drive on the right side.
With a Jeep style or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeep owned with no front end. So if you run into something, your legs are gone. But what was so cool about it is you could stand up and the brake pedal, it had a brake here or a brake straight down. That you had to get used to.
Like a trash truck.
Yeah. And what was cool is when I was at Burroughs, I was the manager of the baseball team. We found it was the best vehicle to drag the field with because you could stand outside that door. And I had
hang out the door.
and I used to put one of those Brody knobs on it.
Oh yeah.
And you just turn that thing and go in circles. And then I got rid of that and got a Cadillac. From there on,
Wow. Look at you.
and that Cadillac.
How much
got
did they pay you to rake the field?
Oh, that was part of my duty. I got out of sixth grade or sixth period. I had to go. But what was funny about it, that's when CHP used to have checkpoints, and I'd always go up Verdugo, and they would set up on Verdugo just east of Pass Avenue. Well, I'd come off of Toluca Park Drive where I lived, and I'd go that way. They'd let me go through every time. They thought it was a mail truck.
They didn't even cite you for having the Brody knob on there?
No, but
might not have been illegal back then.
Yeah.
One
They
day,
are now.
one day I went to go through it, and the guy pulled me over. I said, "What U.S. mail?" Because I had on the right side MALE instead of MAIL.
Isn't that your Tinder handle now?
So they stopped me. You know what for? I had landing lights on the front bumper, and he said those need to be covered.
There you go. They found something.
You already landed.
Good traffic, guys, right there. He had landed. That's why they needed to be off or covered.
So
what was yours?
So mine was a 62 Chevy station wagon.
Wow, like a Griswold mobile?
Oh, it was old, and the neighbor gave it to me. Or actually about $200. And that lasted for a while. The neighbor always fixed it for me too.
Oh, that's handy.
Well, he's a mechanic, so Bill Briggs.
All right.
Okay,
That needs to be thrown down the hallway.
well, if I do, guess who's going to chase it?
Right. Oh, yeah, I know.
Well,
Careful what you wish for. Oh, of course it's hard, too. Now we're going to hear it rolling around on the hardwood floor. Oh, boy. Should we just start over?
So do you know why? And by the way, do you know why it takes longer to get from second base to third base than it does from first to second?
Are we talking baseball?
Yeah, when you drove. When you drove, it always took you longer to go from second to third than it did from first to second.
Why
when
is
you're
that?
dragging. Because between second and third, there's a shortstop in between.
Wow. Boom. Thank you for keeping that clean, though.
A little baseball fun for you. Okay.
I remember somebody who had an El Camino and
What is going on?
That wasn't me.
I don't think it was me. It was. Oops.
Oh, my gosh.
That wasn't Dodger
We're
either, was it?
professionals here, everybody.
Okay,
We're
I'm off. I'm
professionals.
sorry about that.
All right.
I remember an El Camino, and somebody taught me in the Safeway parking lot how to do donuts. You just jump on that emergency brake, and
Yes,
you
you
turn
do.
the wheel to the right.
That's how
You ever learn how to do a Rockford?
That's how you do 360s.
A Rockford?
A Rockford? A J turn?
Go backwards, then you go
Backwards
frontwards.
and then turn around and hit the brakes and turn around and go.
Oh no, that one you
No.
never taught me.
I don't need to do it.
We didn't even have room in that parking lot. That was at what we used to call 1721. You
Oh, yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
And that was
Before our tea hunts. That's a whole different topic. Okay,
All right.
get back to the
Monday.
show. Monday we talked a little bit auto repair.
Who
That's
won
good.
last week's drawing?
Last Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we did our drawing last week. That's right.
We had our drawing
Our
for the word of the week, the Hill Street Cafe
Yeah.
gift card.
That
Who won that?
Samantha
Why?
Stevens.
Samantha
Samantha
Stevens.
Stevens. And the card's actually already been mailed out to her.
Excellent. Is she going to take us to Hill Street? Because
It's only $25, so
all
I'm
their
not sure.
soups and dressings are homemade.
And listen later in the show. We'll have another giveaway for this show also,
Yeah.
and that word has been selected.
Later
You
in the
just don't know
show, you
where,
have to
don't
listen.
know when.
It's usually somewhere after the middle break, the second
And if-
half of the second week of the show. Sometimes it feels like the second week of the show, but
And
gotta
if you
listen to
guys
get your gift
remember-
card.
I let you know last week that kids eat free on Thursdays.
There we go. Well, we'll talk
Your
about.
kids are not your
I
kids.
can get real tiny if I have to.
Let's talk about Tuesday first.
Then there's Tuesday.
Tuesday we did our
Tuesday.
podcast with the mayor.
Mayor Burbank?
I thought you were there.
I wasn't here. That was really good. He's very good on camera.
Yeah, I thought it went really well. I was very happy with it. It went a little longer than I probably had planned, but
but it was conversational. That's how long it took to do.
it really did. And he
We
was
learned a little more about him.
he was very happy.
a lot.
Very happy with it, and he'll be back in February to do it again.
That's the thing is you have
We didn't
to
scare him
keep them shorter so you have stuff to talk about the next month,
trust
right?
me, there's always something going on in
I'm
Burbank.
sure there'll be plenty.
We already got a list going. He said we'll have to talk about it next month.
And then Wednesday,
Talking in reverse all of a
our
sudden.
mayor was a little busy on Wednesday, and Ross, why don't you tell what was our mayor doing on Wednesday?
Where did the word floatus come from?
Well,
POTUS?
you know, the first time I ever heard the word POTUS was actually on the premiere episode of West Wing.
Really? Well, it was actually a very good show.
Excellent
Very well
show.
written show.
And they said POTUS, and I'm going,
Yeah.
what? And then and
There's SCOTUS.
and the lady said, "What does POTUS mean?" And he goes, "Well, President of the United States."
Right. Absolutely.
So yes, the First Lady of the United States
That's FLOTUS.
came in Burbank Wednesday night. The mayor gave us a little, clue that he was going to greet her, and she landed Bob Hope Airport and was swiftly greeted and moved off by
Whisked away.
by CHP and her security detail to an unknown location. But I know our mayor. I saw one of the TV channels was out there, and he was at the bottom of the steps to welcome her to Burbank.
There you go.
Maybe they went to Hill Street. Hill Street Cafe.
Close.
Moving on to Thursday, we had we actually did one of her podcasts, My Burbank, My Community, and she sat down with a Burbank mom, Alyssa Nelson, who talked about her 5-year-old son, Charlie the Champion, who's had some major heart surgeries, and they're doing a fundraiser for him in Burbank. So please listen to that podcast, and if you're a softball player, they're having a big tournament in February. You can always come out and support that, or just donate to their cause. But Burbank
And all the information was given on that
everything,
episode?
yeah, everything on that
Excellent.
episode, and
Have to tune in.
there's links below in the description about how to contact them also. But it was a good podcast, and Ashley did a nice job with it.
There's
Great.
an article on my Burbank.
An article in my room also.
Charlie the Champion.
Yeah, if you want to get out of yourself and just show up to root and be there to
He was
support.
born with, I guess, half a heart, which is really, and he's had a couple, and he's going to public school now, and even playing t-ball. So
That's
he's
amazing.
Good.
he's on his
Amazing.
yeah.
Wow.
Then Ross, you went out to help welcome
guy.
3 new recruits on Thursday. Tell us about
Drove
that.
all
He goes to the Burbank Police Department.
Burbank Police
Recruits.
Department had 3 new officers at the LA County Sheriff's Department's Star Training Center in Whittier. And don't ask me how long it took to get there, but it was
There
half hour.
is no quick way to get to Star
Wow.
Center. I had to go there many times in my past and
I'll tell you once.
got to get an early
I
start.
went to Waze or one of the, maps. It was taking me through alleys.
Yeah,
Some of
Waze
those streets.
Waze will take you the most obscure routes,
I
and it's
to-
already pretty obscure getting there. So
Oh, I went down some streets. I don't think I'd go down at night. So Burbank has 3 new officers: Officer Gomez, Officer Ohanian, and Officer Parks. And I believe it's Gomez or Ohanian. Could have been Parks. He was a cadet. I'm not sure which one.
Space cadet?
Well, no, he's
One of the three
one of the
had
three.
been a cadet for a Burbank
a
Police
Burbank
cadet.
cadet. So that program worked real well.
We call that a success story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one, I believe it's Parks, has a relative at Glendale PD. They didn't get him. We did. And
Woo-hoo.
3 sharp guys. One, it's nice to see amongst this class. So we are, I don't know how many retired last week, but at least we have 3
Right.
officers. And it'll be a year before they're out on the street and so forth. So.
And that was
Well, no, they'll be on the street now with training officers.
Right. But
Yeah, they won't stay in the station for a year,
no.
but they'll be on probation for a year.
Yeah.
that was LA Sheriff's recruit class 270.
That's
Good for
right.
them.
That's right.
Good luck in your training.
It's funny. I did
fellas.
see I saw it on the news that night, and they showed the sheriff up there, and they also showed Chief Mike Albanese talking with who was posing for a picture with one of our recruits. They showed him on the news.
Yeah, how they normally do that is there were 6 outside agencies. There are like a ton of sheriff's officers that graduate. Glendale had some officers, Fullerton, Cal State University,
Yeah.
but Burbank had 3, and Mike Albanese poses for the picture.
Mhm.
Up there
Of
was-
giving-
Each city gets a chance to get up and they,
Yeah.
And the thing is, when the cities that we only have 3, we can't have a whole training class with 3 officers. So combining them as sheriffs that has a large class
Right.
is economically feasible and everything else. So that's why small departments do that. They go in and the sheriffs take their recruits in.
Right, they send them there, and then they come back and teach them how Burbank does things.
Yes.
I said good luck, fellas. I assume, are they all males or?
Yes.
Okay, they are. Okay.
This past weekend, our friends at Logic, they had an open house at their new location on Riverside Drive in Mariota, and they had Pink's Hot Dogs was there to give out hot dogs. Anybody in the public who showed up and wanted a Pink's hot dog, they got one. Ross, once again, you were there. Why don't you give us a rundown?
I
Well,
was.
he didn't give us hot dogs. Might as well give us a rundown.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't even get Pink's hot dog because I was busy shooting away.
It's always
It was raining out there, and it's really hard to shoot in the rain.
and
but-
eat a hot dog.
This is
Very
true.
hard to do.
But our friends at Logix, who is one of our new advertisers, invited me out, and I shot a lot of people. They gave away.
Photographed.
I photographed. You're right. They had a
It's been
drawing.
a horrible event.
Yeah, not Monterey Park. I
It's
hope.
a terrible event.
They gave a gift card to Priscilla's, which is a Toluca Lake Burbank business,
Yeah, Burbank.
Love it. Yep.
and somebody won that. Somebody won a $50, whatever the market is right down there. What's in that neighborhood?
Trader Joe's.
Hey, there you go. Trader Joe's gift certificate. And then one person won a $500 Amazon gift certificate. And on top of that,
Pretty good.
Toluca Lake Elementary School was given a check for being in the neighborhood, $2,500.
That's all it takes.
Would you believe that?
I'll hang out next time.
Well, I'll tell you, Logix is very committed to their local branches.
I will suggest this to them next time. Instead of giving $500 for an Amazon gift card, why not give a $500 savings account to somebody? And they'd probably save the money in their bank and plus become a customer, if not already.
Mm.
And they could probably add to it over time and help them save.
This is
That
true.
would be my suggestion. If
Interesting.
$500 is $500, whether you put it in your own
actually-
bank or you
Good idea.
put it on an Amazon card. But
That and Mad Hat Balloons that are good friends of mine. They were there making balloon characters and all. You can look for pictures on myburbank.com with a little story coming up tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
Hopefully I'll be done with them tonight.
Okay. Well, that was it for the weekend. We are going to be back with you in a second, right after this word.
Enjoying the show right now? Thinking you may want to do your own podcast? Burbank Talks is renting out our podcast studio on an hourly rate. You can do audio podcasts or both audio and video, and even bring in guests to talk with. We will help you get set up on podcast platforms and start a YouTube channel, and we can edit your productions to make you look and sound your very best. If you are interested, please drop us an email at studiorentals@myburbank.com. That's studiorentals@myburbank.com, and we will get back to you. Now, back to our show.
All right, everybody. Craig Sherwood with you, along with Craig Durling.
Still here.
And of course, not only guest star now, but a full member of the band, Ross Benson.
I even got my chiclet in.
He's got a chiclet.
There you go.
And if you saw the video, the hat he was holding up is from Logix. That's the Logix
That's not from Disney. That's
logo there.
Not BB-8.
The first people that were at their event the other day got beanies. And you know what? I showed up and bald and it was raining out. She came over and put a beanie on my head. And I never wear a beanie or a hat. I was warm.
Can't say that anymore.
Yeah. So you might see me wearing my beanie more often.
Well, let's move on to today.
Today?
Today?
The week that was?
This is the week that,
Today?
well, this is the week that's going on. And today,
January
For those
22nd.
listening to the
Today is
show,
January 22nd
yeah.
if anybody's keeping score at home.
today's actually pretty much over because we get this podcast on audio on Monday nights. And
So,
Usually on video
by
on
the time this
Tuesday.
comes out, today will be the week part of the week that was.
which is why we don't do usually
In a weird
Mondays
way.
of last week.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Phew.
only 2 meetings this week. Now, we talked to the mayor in our podcast about why they have so many meetings on the same day and at the same time. And he was a little bit, you know what? I agree with you, and something they're going to look into a little bit. So, anyhow, 2 meetings, but one was canceled. The planning commission was canceled. There is no planning anymore. We just kind of wing it by ear now. No, they just had
Did
no.
I see you retweet that one of the members of the planning board was wearing part of my Burbank?
Yeah, we did see that. Yeah, a planning board member actually bought some
Wearing
a swag
swag?
shirt from the My Burbank Swag Shop.
What?
Samantha Wick, one of our commissioners, who does listen to our podcast, and she was really proud to.
She looked good in it too.
She did that red hair.
Are there
Went
my
well with it.
Burbank beanies?
We'll have to look into that
We should. You got
because
those
they
bald guys.
ever since we put our swag store up, it's actually doing very well. And I know there's glasses and cups and
And they can get to that from the front page of
Yes.
myburbank.com.
just click
Right?
on the My Burbank Swag Shop and
The swag shop.
the swag shop.
Right on.
Anyhow, Transportation Commission met today, and one of the things they talked about was shifting parking management from the Infrastructure Committee to the Transportation Committee. So right now, because of the way it was set up, parking was going through infrastructure, and probably not because of the financial aspects of it, but not really saying that infrastructure really needs to deal with. So they're going to transfer that, because of the municipal code, they have to do it, officially that way.
Well, the
So,
infrastructure committee has their hands full with elevators.
yes, they do.
Elevator maintenance, right?
Isn't that the truth? They also we're going to discuss the BRT, which is the Bus
Excuse
Rapid
me?
Transit Project.
Did you burp?
What did I mispronounce?
I thought you said burp. BRT.
The BRT,
For short, it's BRAT.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Call it
spelled
BRAT,
wrong.
right?
Bus Rapid Transit Project.
It's burp.
Okay.
Almost as good as that toilet button we have.
No, don't pick up my toilet bowl. They had initially voted in 2021 to recommend side running lanes, which was take away a lane of traffic. And but now they're going to rediscuss it now and come up with a new recommendation for the council. And then once again, this thing that goes to the council, they recommend to the council, not just take a report and say thank you and goodbye.
It's a side running lane for people to run? Or is it a dedicated running lane? Or
It's
for
a-
bicycles?
It's
Or
a dedicated running lane only for buses.
buses?
So you'll take away a lane of traffic.
Yeah.
It'll be one lane in each direction, and then one lane
Okay.
between parking and the center lane where only buses may go into it. So that one
Gotcha.
bus running every 15 or 20 minutes will have a lane, and the rest of the time it'll be gridlocked.
That's me being too literal, I guess, once again, is seeing
But I've
side
learned-
running. Like they're going to close down a whole lane for people to run. They better run fast.
Bicycles are allowed in that lane. We talked about it at Walk Bike Burbank, and they said that bus they've included, if you're on a bike, you can be in that lane.
Well, consider how many people I see on a bike on Verdugo in a dedicated bike lane. I'm not
Might
too,
as well throw a bus in here
I'm
and there.
not too excited about them throwing a whole lot of bicycles on all of
Yeah,
it.
don't take away lanes for vehicle traffic for people that aren't going to use them.
I can really see that could be a thing to do if we had the capacity. But like I said in the show the other night, I go Micro Mini, which is the Metro Bus's
Van.
that nobody uses.
It's
$1,
you pay
right?
$1 to go on your trip, and they're actually having to cancel routes right now because nobody will use it. And for every $1 fare, it costs them $62 to give that person.
So
a
they're
ride.
operating the whole thing as at a loss, and nobody's
nobody's using it. So you could make it for free, and they still wouldn't use it. So, but yet they're going to close the whole lane of traffic down in Burbank, our busiest artery in the city, our main street, for a bus that's going to run especially if it's a Burbank bus, it's going to run 9/10 empty.
And how often do they run?
Yeah, every 15 or 20 minutes. So,
But my question was to the mayor, are they doing this all for the 2028 Olympics and then realize, it didn't work. Let's just put the,
Well,
my problem is it goes North Highway to Pasadena, and how many people in the Olympics are going from North Highway to Pasadena?
Very true.
I know different council people in other cities have tried this in Santa Monica and some other cities with horrible success because the backlash, they went through, reserved the lane for whatever it was going to be, I think usually bicycles, and then they realized what a horrible mistake it was, and then they had to go through and spend all the money to have the lanes repainted again, given back to the vehicles.
Well, our question is, what are they going to do when they get to Raising Cane's? Have a bus stop?
Spike strips?
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, that's they're also going to talk about maybe changing their meeting time to 4 p.m. next meeting so they don't compete with other meetings. Why not change the day? I don't know
what didn't the mayor say also? Do I recall right? Scratching my head about people attending about that bus route meeting.
Right.
It is open to the public, and if you want to make comment and so forth.
Moving on to Tuesday, we have a city council meeting back again.
And wait, now there's got to be some fancy music we have to that.
Once again, having a pre-show meeting does no good as far as
where are all these ideas before the show?
Talk about the
we gotta come up with a sound for Burbank City Council.
Okay.
Yeah. Does anybody?
Some of the Empire March from Star Wars.
Well, we could do that. We can Ross has never heard it though.
I was going to say the music to Running Lilies of the Field or something.
Wow. Okay, what's that? How does that one go?
Lilies of the Field.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
Who was the star of that? Who was the star of that?
Sidney Poitier.
Ah.
Wow.
Or what's that other?
He has his moments, folks.
He does.
I do. You notice what I listen to at night?
You take that hat off, your brain can breathe.
So the city council is going to meet on Tuesday at 6 p.m. at City Hall. One of the things they're going to receive is a federal legislative update by the Ferguson Group. I guess we're paying them a lot of money to tell us what's going on.
Will that come gift wrapped?
Well, like I said, who were they the group in charge of telling us about SB 9 when that came out? Or
yeah, there you go.
So what they
but this is federal, so maybe this is not doing with state. So I don't know.
So that's what literally they do. They're paid to come in and update.
Yeah, well,
on federal legislation and stuff.
What legislation is in the works and what has been recently signed and how it affects cities. But somehow they haven't done. Whoever the group was who did
like something an intern at City Hall could do.
A good job.
Well, yeah, they're the ones up in Sacramento that do lobbying and rub elbows with.
Yeah.
Even that we rub elbows down here, but.
So when we have proclamations to stop nuclear wars, they're the ones who go and anyhow.
That was a great idea.
They're also going to receive a grant for funding VR training by the DOJ, Department of Justice for Police, which is very interesting. I kind of read a little about it and
virtual reality.
Right. So they're going to have the headsets, and I guess you can play out scenarios, hostage situations and
simulated scenarios,
and make it very realistic to the officers and how they react to it. And
it's probably much more realistic than, we always had a trailer outside. We would go out to the trailer and there was a screen with different scenarios projected on it, but they were also interactive. So if you had to take some action, the actors in the video would respond to that, which was interesting. But I'm assuming this is a newer technology to maybe replace that.
Did you have a gun that?
Yeah, they had CO2.
Right, okay.
So guns and pepper spray and different things.
The gun is probably electronic or whatever where they used.
Had sensors that picked up on it.
Be interesting.
Yeah. So this is the new technology replacing it.
They're going to have a public hearing. And I can't imagine anybody telling you it's public hearing and talking against this, but they need to amend the Burbank Municipal Code they want to start putting artwork in areas of the airport that are only accessible to passengers. Because the way the BMC is written now is that any artwork paid for by the city has to be accessible by everybody. So if they want to put artwork in the new terminal and it's past where the screening...
Limited to ticketed passengers.
Yeah, so it's past the screening area.
No.
You can't have blank walls, and I'd rather have artwork instead of advertisements.
And then it's no longer available to the public. Right,
so they have to change the BMC. They need to have a public hearing to change the BMC on that.
Wonder how many people are going to get up to speak.
I don't think anybody's going to even get.
I wonder how many people are going to be sitting in the audience scratching their head, going.
Well, they're always scratching.
How many people are there for this topic, this item?
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe one of our gadflies will get up and swear about it, or
somebody's going to have a problem with it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Finally, they're going to extend the emergency ordinance for SB 435. And that was created back in December. 435 is the one that's actually helping cities combat SB 9 and protect areas such as for qualified sites, such as the equestrian center or equestrian area in Burbank. So right now we have an emergency ordinance that it expires, I say on January 26th. They're going to extend it, so it'll be good for a year as they continue to come out with the new regulations for building in the equestrian center with conditional use permits and everything else.
Is they going to allow public comment on this, or is this just a
no
consent agenda?
Well, yeah, they will have comment. They'll have comments when the issue, number one before the meeting, at the usual comment period, and then before, they always talk about it once it's read. So
gotcha.
Well, and here's if people kind of wonder about this SB this and SB that, and you can call it whatever you want. The mayor explained it pretty well on the requirements that why we're being force fed some of these bills that we didn't meet the housing element.
Now, didn't you just tell me a couple of days ago that Beverly Hills has gotten a spanking from the state?
They got a big spanking. They did not allow low income, if I recall right, and
now they can no more industrial building, no more office buildings, no more any kind of buildings unless only residential. Correct.
Correct, and it has.
And in Beverly Hills,
so. Yeah, Beverly Hills got their hand slapped. So people wonder, why is Burbank allowing this? Because right like this, if the state comes in and it went to a judge, and the judge said, you guys aren't doing it right, you're going to get punished. When we say slap your hand, they cannot issue any building permits.
Let's this way. So if that would have happened in Burbank, we never could have issued permits to raise the ranch and build 16 new studios, an office building and a parking lot, and modernize it and bring in a lot of tax money through rentals and through all the studio people having to, for whatever they need, in services in Burbank. We would have lost a whole lot in that alone. So that's why that's important to be able to build commercial besides residential.
Yeah, this all comes down the state. And when people think, we can tell the state what to do.
Right. There's a lot of things that the city has to push through, and people might not agree with it, going, why is the city allowing this or doing this or making us do this? They may not have a choice. It might be mandated by the state or the feds.
Well, and what we learned, jumping back to the bus situation, the mayor said, people don't understand. Yes, we want to help you. We want to work with you. But people don't realize we get a lot of money from Metro for other things, road repair, sidewalk repair, tons of stuff.
It's the same reason Hawaii has interstate highways.
Yeah.
Money. They get money from the federal government.
I know Craig the other day when the mayor was talking, it's kind of, we get blackballed that we have to do it.
Blackmailed.
Blackballed. That ball reminded me of balls. So.
Squirrel. Homeless count. Exactly.
Okay. They're going to have, that's enough of that.
Does it just go on until you hit the button again? That keeps going?
It's about 10 seconds long.
Oh,
I
okay.
just said that's enough of that. During the council meeting, we're going to have a homeless count in Burbank. It's the county-wide, I don't know, it's a statewide.
They're just going to count the homeless people at the meeting?
No, it's state.
It's statewide. They have a statewide homeless count, and for some reason we scheduled a council meeting on that night.
Well, they requested, our last mayor requested it not to be on a council, or the council needs to be off that night.
There's a lot of people who will not be involved in it because they're going to be at the council meeting. Anyhow, if you'd like to volunteer, and this is basically you're going to go all around town. You're going to go on all the freeway sidings and the on ramps and off ramps and everywhere under the bridges and everywhere else, and we're going to do a count of homeless people in Burbank. So if you're interested in doing that, you need to be at the Community Services Building at 7:30 on Tuesday night, and you can also sign up on the city's website in advance also.
BurbankCA.gov. Do you know if they need to sign up in advance? Or
I think they recommended it, but I got to tell you the truth. They'll probably take anybody who shows up to do it.
And they're not sending people out alone.
No, you go out. Yeah,
you're in groups of 4. I talked to one of our police commissioners, and the commissioners are going out with Steve Turner, the PIO, to go into the locations where they don't want to send.
Right.
No, it's not unsafe.
Right.
They're not sending anybody out alone or anything.
But these counts are real important because that's how the state determines what cities get funding wise.
Too bad the county doesn't decide that on Measure H.
True.
Where Burbank gets 1/10 of what they put into it. Anyhow, that's a whole different.
So the count is.
You tried to sneak a gripe in there, didn't you?
I tried.
A rant.
I tried.
So there will be people out walking around. I know they give them all vests, clipboards, flashlights. I mean, if you see it, if you're out and about tomorrow, it's a big thing.
Well, Wednesday we got a few meetings like usual. Starting off with the Senior Citizens Board.
Can I go,
Ross?
You should go. You should get on that board. It's at 1 p.m. I don't know. Well, it might be early for you, 1 p.m. So
yeah,
it's at the Johnson Center, and they're going to get an update on the Streets Plus plan. So that'll be good.
What's that?
Streets Plus plan.
Get the quick version of that.
Go ahead, Ross.
Well, the council voted a couple years ago. The city did tons of studies, and the new Streets Plus plan is several different parts to it. One of them is turning all the traffic on San Fernando Boulevard northbound. That was one step of it. Closing down that road between Olive and that building, that access road to the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
They're eliminating that. Eventually, down the road, way down the road, about putting a center divider down Magnolia and making that one lane in each direction. Again, to slow traffic and to mitigate a lot of things.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
Right from the Reader's Digest.
Yep. And then we also have a meeting of the Heritage.
Wait, what?
Did I say Heritage?
Heritage?
A Heritage Commission.
Heritage? Why did the horn go off when you said heritage?
Because
Why did the horn go off when I said heritage?
It's the word of the week.
The word of the week.
And guess what?
We told you at the beginning of the show.
And
listen.
And for those of you who have listened this far, email
Congratulations.
us at contest@myburbank.com and use the word heritage in the subject line.
Do they have to spell it correctly?
Oh, no, you can spell it any way they want to. Just starts with an H. And you'll be entered in our contest for next week's drawing. So $25 gift card.
And it's not a giant pool of people submitting, so your odds of winning a card are pretty good. But a $25 gift card to the great Hill Street Cafe on Glen Oaks.
Can't beat that.
Love it.
Good
Love
place.
it. Heritage.
What would you say?
Heritage.
Oh, there you go.
See, and that's good. If people lasted this long and dozed off, that horn would wake them up.
Wake them up.
Just in time to hear the word.
Either that or turn their volume
down. So that's the word. All you have to
anymore.
do is send an email. How easy is that? Send an email.
As easy as it can be.
$25.
And
good chance of getting it.
And just put that word heritage in the subject line.
Right.
So the commission will meet at 5:30 at the Community Services Building.
What are they going to talk about?
The National Register of Historic Places nomination for the Mariposa Street Bridge. Now, I've got a question. Is the Mariposa Street Bridge
On Mariposa, yes.
Burbank property?
Yes.
You know, it goes across the LA River.
Yep. It says
So
right over it.
Is the entirety of the bridge Burbank?
You'd have to ask some horse aficionados.
That's like talking to you about the equestrian center. The entrance is in Burbank,
But
and once
I
you go into the
believe that
arch, you're in
bridge-
LA.
They've talked about it many times. I
Okay.
forget but I do know there's a sign on it, and it's city property, and it has been for years. But I don't know about on the other side.
Maybe we can ask Mr. Ed.
We can ask
Maybe Mr. Ed knows.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed.
There you go, and he'll
Well,
tell you.
how about that Mariposa Street Bridge? Is that all he says?
That's all he says.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how
we
many-
get Wilbur once in a while too.
I just wonder how many of our listeners know or have ever gone down Mariposa to the end and looked at the Mariposa Street.
That's all I can do. They can only look at it.
They can't walk over it.
You're not allowed to walk over it. You're not allowed to walk your bike over it to the bike lane. You're not allowed to use it in any other way except for a horse has to.
Oh,
You have to have a horse with you.
Thank you, Mr. Ed.
well, who doesn't? Who doesn't have a horse with them these days?
Friends of the Library. They're going to be meeting at 5:30 at the Burbank Central Library, and good for them. So
Our full support
not
behind
much-
the Friends of the
not
Library.
much to talk about on their agenda, but they're going to meet and
It's probably upstairs in the auditorium.
more of a book club probably than anything else, huh? And there'll be a meeting for sustainable water use ordinance at 6 p.m. at the Burbank Water and Power. I guess we're going to talk about how many days you can water your lawn and things like that, and they're going to have a couple meetings, I guess, for that. So they want the public to come to that at 6 o'clock.
Isn't that something that we just got a note from Water and Power that
Yeah, that we
changed our ads?
we changed our ads to that,
and they
and
want people to come. And,
go to our website and click on their ad, and it'll take you right to their website where you get more information
And if they have any opinions or thoughts, they can go to the meeting and be heard.
and be heard.
and
Moving on to
those
Thursday.
people over at Water and Power. I mean, Craig and I went to the tour where we get our water from, and people think, you just turn on the faucet and it'll always.
And by tour,
Quite an operation over
we
there.
actually started at the Hoover Dam
we sure did.
and went all the way back through California, the back desert areas, and saw the pumping stations, saw the reservoirs, saw the lakes. It was a 2-day trip, and it was very.
Back in the day, Huell Hauser did a great episode about that, following the water, and it was ultimately to the city of Los Angeles, I believe, but essentially the same path.
Right. Well,
But the system in place to get water from there to here is
the
just
Metropolitan Water
amazing.
Districts, and we have Marcia Ramos, our commissioner, who always very knowledgeable. And if you actually really want to find out about this, I think she can even arrange to get you on the tour one time.
If I recall right, when our council members reported out at the last meeting,
Nikki Perez went on that.
Council Member Perez, and so did our assistant city manager,
Yeah.
Courtney Padgett, went together, and she was in awe, right like you and I were.
Well,
I mean, they pay
they-
for.
They took us down into the Hoover Dam itself, the operations where the public
Yeah.
doesn't get to go, and showed us the turbines and showed us all the history of it and everything else. We walked out on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So I have
where-
to ask, how was your dam tour?
Damn fine.
Good. Did you go to the dam gift shop? Buy some damn gifts?
Damn it, I forgot.
It's funny because that tour, people that work at Hoover Dam, they all live all right there, and their day job, and they fed us. I mean, I had the best steak I think I have ever had, and they served us dinner and breakfast, and they flew us up there, and then we came back via bus. But if you're a Burbank citizen, you could always talk to Marcia Ramos, and those tours go on every so on.
Yeah, I think it's by 3-4 times a year.
Very, very,
And they do another one from Sacramento too.
Right.
So it's a 1-day tour.
very informational.
Well,
You will, I guarantee, after doing that tour, you will turn the water off when you brush your teeth or when you're shaving between.
you know what I'm going to look.
Jeez.
You know what I'm going to look into though, is how we ever signed into a contract that we're not allowed to keep any of our rainwater that falls in Burbank. Our rainwater belongs to the city of Los Angeles.
All right, you mentioned that a while back.
And
That blows my mind.
I'm going to do a little deep dive into that and find out where that came from. What's the reason for that?
How long has that been in the case? How long ago they make that agreement?
And can we do something about that?
I could tell you somebody you could ask, but you won't be getting the answer very rapidly. Mike Nolan would have known that.
Well, he would have known that, but
Well, how quick do you want the answer?
But I think you know who you could ask?
Who can arrange it?
You know what? She does listen to our podcast, and
who's that? Marsha?
Marsha would
Well,
probably...
you guys are the reporters.
Well, I'm going to
You're
find
the
out. No,
journalists.
I'm actually going to find out because I think it's something that needs to be, it's something we can change. I mean, if it's
Right.
already for
Can we
50
undo
years,
Does it expire or
because
something like
I'm
that?
sorry, Los Angeles, if they were saving their rainwater, you wouldn't see it going by the LA River. They'd be saving that, but yet we can't save it. And they can't even save what they're getting as it is.
But didn't I recall hearing there's money involved, and some waters that go through certain reservoirs because it's groundwater. When there are lawsuits,
These are
the last couple of years?
huge disputes contractually and everything. The state of Arizona with the Colorado River,
Oh, yeah.
and divvying
what
that
portion
up.
of it did they get? And
Yeah, it's a big complex deal. So
Most people just think life goes on, but there are attorneys and deals like that.
well, we will look into it. You have my unconditional word.
Whoa.
You heard it here, folks.
There you go. Let's move on to Thursday. Thursday, the Advisory Council on Disabilities will meet at 1:30. It's going to be a Zoom meeting, which is probably the best because, if it's hard for you to get out, then you need to have a Zoom meeting. So you can go to the city's calendar and you can get more info there. It's not on their meetings and agenda. It's only on their calendar. The Infrastructure Board will meet at 6 p.m. at the Community Services Building, and they'll talk about parking control, about making sure that they switch it over to the Transportation
Right, they're giving it away to the Transportation
So
Commission.
something else on Thursday I saw that you may enjoy. A moonlight hike at the Stow Canyon Nature Center starting at 6 p.m. It's a staff-led hike, and you go up for a view. It says the hike times will vary, and there is a phone number you can call, 818-238-5440, where you get exact hike time.
You know what?
It's around 6 o'clock.
Will that be in the show notes? Or maybe
not.
I would highly recommend, if anybody wanted to go to that, you call prior or call tomorrow, because currently, as of today, all our hiking trails are closed.
They usually are closed to storms.
Because of the storm. And now if there was any damage yesterday or today, this might be canceled. So before you go up there with your hiking boots on, make sure it's happening.
Well, that's on Thursday. Hopefully they have 3 days to get it figured out.
Thursday the 25th.
And that is on the city calendar, so you can always do the city calendar and get the number there too.
And it's not finished raining yet, so.
Correct.
Not yet.
History in the making coming up.
Thursday's the big day. Thursday, we're finally going to have the groundbreaking that Ross thought 2 weeks ago was not going to happen in his lifetime. And the groundbreaking for the new Icon Terminal at the Hollywood Burbank Airport, formerly known as the Bob Hope Airport, formerly known as
the Hollywood Burbank Airport, and the
Lockheed Airport. So we're finally going to get the groundbreaking on the new terminal, replacement terminal.
The new replacement terminal.
Yes.
But did you say in there, I didn't hear you say,
It's closed to the public.
there you go.
Closed to the public. The public cannot go. You know how you find out about it? You read it on My Burbank.
MyBurbank.com will be there.
We'll have Ashley there. We'll have Ross there. We'll have pictures and videos, and we'll have a story. And you can see all about the...
If you've lived in Burbank as long as I have, 68 years, for years and years they've talked about replacing the terminal. For years there has been lawsuits and debates and, just everything. And it's to finally see a groundbreaking, I'm going to probably be crying.
You're not an emotional crier.
I think I'm bringing my silk handkerchiefs out for that one. You remember my silk handkerchiefs?
Just duct tape a big sponge around your head.
No, but that's really cool. I mean, in our lifetime to see.
Well, it's finally going to
It's
happen.
history. Think of how much history is on that property. How many things in the military, government, aviation history took place on that property. We can't really call it, Burbank Airport or whatever, but the airport is there.
Back in the war when they covered it with camouflage.
With the camouflage.
Yeah.
And it made it look like there were buildings.
Right.
And it was, Or the nights that we went out there. Yeah, my buddy, MB, worked out there and would call me and say the skunk works. And I mean, for us, we'd go out there and line up on Van Owen and we watch that C-58 take off.
Friday night, 11:30.
Right. Remember you, Bill, used to go out there at the end of the fence and said
Friday
the
night?
wheels would barely clear the fence.
Yeah.
Friday nights at 11:30.
And it was just, if you think of the history.
When you hear stealth, that's where it started.
Yep. And
They built the planes there. They put them on C-5As, and then they flew the stealth to Palmdale for final assembly.
yeah, just amazing that you think how that airport
What a
has
history.
changed. And yep.
And I think I may have mentioned it last week, but there's a great book if you want to know about the history of the skunk works that used to be there. Now it's all buildings, but written by Ben Rich, one of the guys that ran Skunk Works toward the end, but where they built designed and built the SR-71 and the stealth bomber and all that, all happened right there at Burbank Airport. Great book.
I was
Skunk
talking to
Works.
somebody today,
Skunk Works.
and she said, my mom worked at Lockheed. You know how many people I still talk to? Their parents or grandparents worked at Lockheed, and
The only negative, and they left it at a Superfund site.
that and the Empire
Right.
Center, which they had
I
dug
remember the
out.
Empire Center having to be cleaned up forever and
Yeah,
ever, all the
because
contaminated soil.
Because of Lockheed's
Oh, they
secret stuff.
didn't know what it was. Just
They used to make their own like hydrogen and stuff that
Right.
in the facility, which is crazy to think.
so Thursday will be a neat day. We'll take some pictures, and I guarantee they'll
Local
have some
history.
rendering of the new terminal. So
Grab me, if they have any swag, like a hat or something, grab me a
A beanie.
look a buddy up.
On Thursday, they're also Luther Middle School is going to have their play Legally Blonde Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm sure you can go to the school's website and get tickets for that. I know all the schools, middle schools and high schools, put on fabulous shows here. Shows that rival anywhere you'll see professionally. So
and
great.
I want to just
Thursday,
interject.
Friday, and Saturday.
and I think their cheer team has won a couple competitions now, and done very well. So hats off to
Go support the
Luther.
schools, especially the arts.
Well, I saw last week somebody broke into their auditorium, vandalized it, stole some items in it.
Oh, I looked into that, and according to the police, they stole a speaker. That was the only thing stolen. Was one speaker.
Okay, but still,
I was going to we're going to do a story on that, thinking there was a lot of stuff, but there was no signs of forced entry, and a speaker was missing.
okay.
So either somebody left a door open, or
Bad but good, I guess.
yeah. So I mean, it's not good no matter what, but it's just
Could have been worse.
it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be,
Right.
and I was going to alert the community to it in case they needed any help with stuff. So, but I did look into it because I wanted to try to help them out if they needed to, but no forced entry.
You're doing okay.
Um,
So go see Legally Blonde.
Yeah, but-
Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
especially on Friday because there's nothing else going on Friday. It's a blank day for us.
Literally blank.
On Saturday, the Friends of the Burbank Library are having a special media pop-up sale. One day only, on the second floor in the auditorium from 12 to 4 p.m. So I'm sure they'll put a lot of stuff
At the Central Library,
at the
right?
Central Library. That's correct. Also, for you people, after you've gone to the play at Luther on Saturday night, the music is instrumental benefit concert at Burbank High at 7 p.m. Music from film and TV. We did Lisa Paredes, our associate editor, did a real nice article in our website. You can read all about it. Last year was fantastic, and they say this year promises to be even better. Did you go to it last year, Ross?
We covered it last year, and the numbers they play. What they do is they have Burbank and Burroughs instrumental with some professional mentors playing with them. And last year and this year, it was so great of a show. They're bringing in the choirs also. And most people in Burbank have probably heard of a guy by the name of John Williams. He's kind of a director of music, and his brother Bob is the one that puts this music program on. And
This has been going on for a while, hasn't it? I think I
years.
remember you.
And it's a great fundraiser.
Going to one a while
great
back.
fundraiser too.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, and there is a surprise that they are going to announce. There is a production company in town that has made a very nice gift, which they will announce that night. So if you want to hear some fantastic music, come on over to Burbank High, and you can go online. It's our lead story on My Burbank right now. You can click on it to...
Tickets at the door?
I believe so.
Okay, so people get to show
Well,
up.
last year they were selling violins. They were selling original, music from shows, autographed.
Hopefully after the performance.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that just brings us to one final thing. It's time for Ross's rant.
You know what?
And we'll have better next time.
Ross's rant.
That's still a temporary sound effect for him. But this is why you...
Temporary. He's been asking for one
I
for
know.
months.
I gotta find the right
That's
one.
what you got.
I was actually going to do an old Al Pacino sound effect.
We need to commission somebody to write a jingle for you.
Yes.
There we go. Well, you just put it out there. Somebody wants to write a jingle?
Somebody out there can write a little 3, 4, 5 second jingle for Ross's rant.
Yep. Anyhow, Ross, start ranting.
Well, I got a couple. Like I said, first Saturday I covered the Logix event, and then I drove out to the valley. When I say drive, I left the bubble.
Somebody left the gate open?
I knew somebody would say. I left the bubble. I went out to Topanga, and I decided after I did my shopping out there, I needed to get something. Instead of coming back the freeway, I'd come back. I was thinking Victory, Oxnard. I took Sherman Way. Man, oh man, oh man. The visual of our valley.
You weren't in Kansas anymore, were you?
I'm still in awe. I mean, I remember going out there to a place called...
Wait, awe means a good thing.
No, awe.
No, you could be in
I guess.
awe of anything, but what did you see? But
Yeah.
what?
I used to go out there years ago to a CB place called Buddy's CB, and it was Receipt in Sherman Way, and nice neighborhood. It was the valley. I mean, valley, it was, nice. Board up businesses, the chain link fences around businesses, the empty property, the billboards every 3 blocks. And I'm not talking the homeless tents but every street sign had graffiti on it. I drove all the way coming up from Topanga east. That big Kmart.
That's a hike.
Well, it's a big distance.
Yeah.
Going through Van Nuys Boulevard, I was just, where am I?
You can tell you're not in Burbank.
Well, that's, and that's part of I tell you, we are very fortunate here in Burbank. We don't have billboards. There's 5. Years ago, our city council made that a law, and it's eyesore. I mean, I came where that big Kmart was, Sherman Way, it's all fenced off, and you could just, what's living in there now? Passing Norm's restaurant, used to go there. I was just, like I said, I went all the way up to the airport, went around the airport. It cleans up around the airport, but I am so glad I live in Burbank. People, if you don't get out, go take that drive someday, and you will be very happy that we live in Burbank.
Well, you'll be in awe. I mean, it's not necessarily a pleasant drive, but it certainly makes you appreciate when you get home.
And what our council,
where you live,
what our council in our city, how we maintain it, and who lives here and what lives here, and
that takes a lot of work.
It does, and I commend our city for just that drive. It blows me away, So, and then I think my other part of that was, I noticed The last 2-3 days, the number of restaurants in this city, 5 new restaurants, the last 2 blocks. The hardest thing to open and operate. I've talked to many restaurant owners. There's no profit, especially now when you have to pay your employees, a busboy, $20 an hour.
Well, and now you have all the regulations with the no plastic and all this that aren't making it any easier.
Their water that they discharge from a
I
restaurant.
mean, I get but if people are going to live in California, you've got to pay them $20 an hour. I mean, you can't get, I appreciate the labor being a busboy isn't as glamorous or anything else, but
then
they got to survive too, that's
the opposite.
They can't afford to live here.
And by the way, how tough are restaurants? After the Emmys, the Bear did very well at the Emmys. So I watched the entire series, the first 2 seasons, on Hulu. Amazing. It's an amazing show. And everybody I've heard from now says the Bear is exactly how restaurants really are. It's the most, so if you want to know how tough restaurants are to work at and to make a living at and to make money, it's a great show for you to watch. I mean, I was very impressed. I mean, it's a great show. A little bit of swearing in it though, so if you're not if you don't like that, that word here and there, but very realistic compared to every restaurant.
Tough business.
Well, you go out to eat nowadays. They just said McDonald's, their burger's going to go up. Everything's going to go
Everything's going to go up.
It has to. But
All these raises in minimum wage and all that get passed on to the consumer.
yeah,
The restaurants and these businesses have no choice. They can't absorb the cost.
No.
well,
It gets passed on to us.
did a food review with with Lisa one day. That place next to Nelson's Liquor, it's already changed
Gone.
owner. It's now reopened. New place called A's. I'm going to want to try it out, check it out. But I can't believe.
I think 2/5 of all the burger places that have been reviewed are all gone now.
But-
yeah, there's a new place up in up next to Shakey's, Smash and something,
Smash Burger or
something like that. I can't believe all these places that
since you brought it up,
Okay,
I'm going to put it on the record
Okay.
of this project of yours that's been in the works for a while. Tell us about that. So we're going to lock you into it. Now you have to do it.
I started compiling a list. Now, Craig and I go back many years here in Burbank when the Yankee Peddler, Sorrentino's. We're talking a lot of restaurants.
King's Arms.
I have over
yep, all of them.
200 restaurants that have come and gone in Burbank in the last
So you already have a list.
50 years.
Now the show.
In fact, it's probably going to be a 2-part show. We're going to do a 2-part podcast.
Right, because you're going to get 2 into the list and be
Well, they were
talking
like-
and talking and talking
Right.
about the
Well,
places.
there were 2 Marie Callender's, one up there, one down here.
Right.
Or three Bob's Big Boys.
3 Bob's. Yeah. So for us and everybody always says, oh, God, I wish I was still here. King Swede.
How about very few people know that IHOP, which now of course is up on the hill, the very first IHOP ever was right here, Rose and Riverside.
Riverside.
In the media district.
No, adjacent to the media district.
Darn it. We just can't get ourselves into the media
We
district.
talked to the mayor about that a little bit. He's a little
Can we
confused by that also.
expand it a little bit?
Yeah, I don't get it.
All right,
We're gonna
so
work on that
everybody,
show.
hold Ross to that. Got to get this show in the
I'll
works.
just wait for Ross to say, let's do it.
I will bring that list and we will do it. And I just driving home on Saturday. There used to be Tommy's. There was
Well, there's still Tommy's.
Tommy's. No. I mean on Sherman Way and
Oh,
Reseda.
okay.
That's
There
not
used
Burbank.
to be Cupid's. There used to be Pup and Taco. All these
Are
places.
we limiting it to
Well, it used to
Burbank
be
or
Pup
the
and Taco in
Valley? Or
Burbank. He used to have 2 Pup and Tacos in Burbank.
That's right.
all right, save it for the show, people. Save it for the show. But I seem to recollect maybe even a year ago we were asking listeners to submit names of restaurants that they knew of.
And then
Well,
we'll ask,
and that's part of your list, right?
and we'll
That
ask
went
them
into
again.
your list.
We'll ask them again. Have you restaurants that are just a memory to you? Send them in to us. If you're a friend of Clint's from the old days,
Clint.
send it in.
Copper Penny. What was the other one? Kind of like Copper Penny that had the wood. Oh, Pinocchio's. the wine barrels.
Well, that's still there.
Yeah, but there's no more corks on the wall.
We can't put restaurants that change their decorations on the list. It's just going to get too long.
Yes.
But anyway, look forward to that, everybody. That'll be coming.
Well, that was my rant and my grateful list or whatever.
Right, and you're never leaving the city again, are you?
I'll tell you. I just, I would turn on the news the other day, just real quickly. I used to work at Hollywood Presbyterian Church. Turn on the news, and top of the news, there was a shooting right on the sidewalk of the church. And I used to work there and walk that daily.
In all honesty, the neighborhood's not the best.
Oh.
It's a big campus that the church is on, but the neighborhood ain't really the best. So you saw plenty of news vans in your day and helicopters and stuff in the neighborhood, right?
Well, on Carlos there, now it's Tent City. I mean, they're all the way into the street, and they've had tons of problems on that street. But I'm grateful for Burbank and how we.
I'm glad you survived all those years working over there.
Well, you know what? The other day when I was talking to my son, you're exactly right, because stuff was going on.
Yeah,
there
were stuff every night coming and going from there. Yeah.
What a show.
It's amazing. I listen to North Hollywood PD because I can't listen to Burbank PD.
I knew that.
And amazing how many times I hear respond to a shooting. Respond to a shooting.
Nightly
in North Hollywood or Van Nuys or the foothill areas, Sunland. Every night respond to a shooting. It's just amazing.
It's all the rage these days. All the cool people are doing it.
Okay.
But Dodger has lifted his head from his nap, which means only one thing.
I think for that we need to go to the Dodger cam.
Well, I have that one.
The Dodger cam.
He's in the lower left-hand corner. If you're watching live or watching the video version, there he is. He's up. So that means
it's time to end another show.
There you go.
Thank you, Dodger.
Okay. For Ross Benson and Craig Durley, this is Craig Sherwood saying thank you very much for listening, and we will talk to you again next week.
Good night, everybody. My Burbank Talks would like to thank all of My Burbank's advertisers for their continued support. Burbank Water and Power, Cusimano Real Estate Group, UME Credit Union, Burbank Chamber of Commerce, Game Credit Union, Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, Community Chevrolet, Media City Credit Union, UCLA Health, Tequila's Burbank, Logix Credit Union, Hill Street Cafe, Bertain Escobar Wealth Management, and the UPS Store on 3rd Street.